said in my preview that it was really important for us to secure 3 points for many different reasons, but I wouldn't have thought that because Chelsea would lose to Palace at home, we're now actually closing the gap up top. Anyways, it was really important just for the game's perspective because we were doing so rubbish in the first half, but the second half really turned it around. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's get into the Burnley review. So starting with team selection, Kyle Walker, Moussa Dembele and Son were all not included in our starting lineup. Son, for obvious reasons, I wasn't actually surprised about that, and it was actually really good that Janssen started because throughout the game he held up the ball really well and created lots of chances, which I will get into later. Kyle was interesting. I think Trippier wasn't so good during the game. He was kind of our weakness, and even though they didn't capitalise on it too much, but it was kind of an issue for us. But then again, Kyle played a lot for England, so I guess you can understand that. And then Moussa, yeah, he played for Belgium, so it made sense in a way, but then eventually we had to bring him on. Again, I'm getting carried away. Let's start from the beginning. So overall, the first half was just really frustrating. The first 10 to 15 minutes, although we had quite comfortable possession of the ball, we didn't create any notable chances. Dele and Eriksen hardly saw the ball. Burnley made sure of that. They just totally isolated them, and thus, obviously, Janssen not getting any chances. They limited our midfield to Wanyama and Winks, which resulted in us not having much creativity. So we knew the game wasn't necessarily going to be easy. They started off with a game plan. They wouldn't let us have much time on the ball. They would do quick free kicks so we couldn't get organised. They would go out wide and do crosses from out wide, so our fullbacks would have issues. And all these sort of things. As I said, they cut off Eriksen and Dele and putting pressure on Wanyama and Winks. So at this point, because our tempo wasn't so high up, it seemed like our best opportunities would come from set pieces or quick and fast counter-attacks. We had a lovely set piece from Toby earlier on in the first half, who just shot straight at the goalkeeper, and then around 30 minutes, Eriksen finds the ball on the left and takes a shot at the goalkeeper, who pushes it out wide to Dele, who's lovely in the box, and he's in a brilliant position to score and just shoots it over the top of the goal. Okay, so the sun's really shining now, which is brilliant, but I can't see, so I'm going to put my sunglasses on. You have to bear with me. Wanyama got fouled around something a little bit after that attack, and it seemed like he was alright. He got treated, but he came back onto the pitch, but it turns out it never really worked out for him, and he had to get subbed off for Dembele. Hence, I mentioned earlier the introduction of Dembele, which was kind of a blow for us because, you know, you don't really want to make substitutions in the first half. But it turned out to be a blessing in disguise in a way because Dembele really controlled the midfield really well. I'm not saying that Wanyama doesn't control the midfield really well, but obviously because he got injured, he had to get subbed off, and Dembele was quite useful to have on the pitch. Trippier wasn't really effective enough. He gave the ball away too much. He didn't come back to cover quick enough. He seemed a little bit out of place, and it caused us a little bit of an issue, and we definitely missed Kyle, in my opinion. Unfortunately, that wasn't it for the first half. Winks also got injured after he landed awkwardly and he tumbled off the pitch, and it turns out, and that was like literally right before half time, Sissoko came on for him, and it turns out they said at half time that he was actually stretchered off, so it seems like that was a pretty serious injury. There are speculations that he might miss the rest of the season. So that was it for our first half really. We already had to make 2 substitutions, both of our holding midfielders had to come off, and we didn't really create much chances really. So, and the way that has to be improved is that we have to start passing the ball much quicker and get a good fast pace going on, because you can't really play against that. It just seemed like the international break took a toll on us. When we started in the second half, it seemed like we turned to a 4-2-3-1 formation, which really suited us because it meant that our fullbacks didn't have to worry so much about going forward as much as coming backwards as well. They could sit back a little bit more. Dyer pushed into midfield, which suited him really well obviously last season. He played there for England as well this season, and overall in the second half it definitely looked good in him. A bit back quickly to the Winks injury, it turns out he's actually went to hospital right now, which just emphasises on the fact that it's a pretty serious injury. Okay, so overall in the second half we definitely upped the tempo, which is what I said we needed after the first half. It was really nice to see. I think this formation kind of suited us. It was nice to see a little bit of a change. It provided us with a lot of chances. Janssen either held up the ball really well, or if he took a shot then someone else would get the rebound. Davies actually was coming more forward than he did in the first half, which was quite interesting. He comes down the left, who passes it to Janssen, who's in the box holding up the ball. Davies still continues to run in, and then Janssen lays it back off to him, he takes a shot, and it gets saved by the goalkeeper. So at this point I was thinking that all I kept seeing for most of the time is that the goalkeeper would push it out and either it would land at on one of our players' feet or just obviously pushing out. So at that point I was like, okay, I can feel a goal coming, let's just keep taking shots at the goalkeeper. He'll eventually push it out to someone who can actually finish, like Sissoko should have a bit earlier. But yeah, so that's what I was kind of thinking at this point. No, we should just keep testing the goalkeeper. In general, that's a really good rule to apply, but in this case especially, I saw that he didn't really push it far enough. It always somehow stayed in the box and landed in front of one of our players. Okay, so the sun's behind some clouds now, so I will take my sunglasses back off. Anyways, what I was about to say was that Janssen had the lovely move again. He held the ball really well, he pushed past defenders into the box, but he couldn't really take a shot off. The ball then finds Sissoko, who again misses the target. We then get a corner which Eriksson takes. The ball finds Eric Dyer, who's in the right place at the right time, right in the middle of the box. He's calm and composed and scores his first goal of the season, and what a time to score. We finally break down Burnley. Soon after that, Janssen gets substituted off for Son. As I said, I think Janssen played really well. He had a head up the ball really well, took a few nice shots. It was unlucky to not see him score, but there you go. But the reason this is really good that Son came on is that it enabled us to have a lot of pace going forward, because Burnley will now require to push forward. Sorry, I need to put my sunglasses on again, as otherwise I'll get blinded. As I was saying, Burnley had to start pushing forward now, which created gaps for us to run past and do some lovely counter-attacks with Son and Eriksson and Dele, for example. But then this is exactly what happened. We had two pretty fast counter-attacks. One was led by Eriksson, who was on the left and found Son, who just missed the target. But then Dele had the ball on the right, who crossed it right across the front of the goal, and Son didn't miss his time, allowing us to go up to a 2-0 lead. Dele had another good chance to put his name on the score sheet when Burnley gave the ball away to Son, who found Dele. He was in the box, but then he just missed the target, and it could have been another easy goal to score, but he didn't. This resulted in our first league win at Burnley since 1976, which is pretty impressive. Again, Burnley's home record has been pretty amazing this season, and you add that to that record, our away record wasn't the best either, so all around a massive 3 points gained here. Just to finish it all off, I think it's important to talk about the individual players. Loris didn't have to do much. Whenever he needed to make a save, he made it really comfortably. He wasn't really tested that much in my opinion. Toby and Jan looked really good at the back, really solid. It was really nice to see. Obviously us keeping a clean sheet, they really helped towards that. Moving on to our fullbacks, they were kind of our weakness today, which Burnley tried to capitalise on in the first half, not so much in the second half. But apart from that, they had an okay game. Nothing outstanding, but nothing horrendously bad either. Okay, moving on to the midfield. Obviously, it's really unfortunate that Winks and Wanyama both went off injured, but when Dembele came on, he controlled the midfield really well, and that was really important for us. It was also nice to see Dyer move back into that midfield role. I think it really suits him. So yeah, he did really well, and obviously he scored a goal, so well done to him. As I mentioned a bit earlier, Dele and Eriksson had a bit of a quiet first half to a degree, but then they had much more space as we picked up the pace in the second half. I think they played both really well. I think Eriksson played especially well. He looked really good. He just was our little magician again. I think Dele should have slotted a few of the easy chances, but that's just one of those days in a way. As I said a bit earlier, Janssen played really well. It was nice to see him do nice hold-up plays and take some shots, so I think he did a really good job, and it was good that he started today. Son looked good when he came on. He took lovely runs forward and lovely counter-attacks, and he obviously scored the second goal, which kind of sealed the game off for us, which was good. Sissoko was alright, he didn't do much really. He had a few good chances to finally make an impact on the team. That didn't happen. Okay, I think that's pretty much going to round it up for my review. Who was your man in the match? For me, I think it was Dyer. I think he looked really good in the second half. He obviously scored our first goal, which really opened up the game for us, and it was kind of a vital part in the game. So overall, I would give it to Dyer. He looked really good, and as I said, he was at the right place at the right time. It was really good for us. But please let me know who your man in the match was. I would love to see your view of the game as well. If you enjoyed this video, then please leave it a massive thumbs up. It means a lot to me. And if you would like to see more Spurs related content from me, then hit the subscribe button down below, and hopefully I will see you in the future. Bye!